Like to be muted. So welcome everyone to the virtual book launch of my new book, Social Selling for Job Seekers. And it looks we're already live today, and we have a range of colleagues with us. It will be Ricky, Jane, Veronica, and Adriana. Let's give it a minute or two until everyone can join. So hello. I hope that everyone is already there who would like to join. I'm very happy that it was about 100 who registered for the LinkedIn Live today. So that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to that one. And then need to find out who is all there. And I hope it's already going, but that's what I need to find out. If anyone of those who are there can confirm and try on a secondary device, I would be appreciated as well. Can you see? So I already see a couple of questions coming in. Craig, you confirm you are there, so that's awesome. Thank you for this one. Hi, Michelle, Sehi, Privet, good to see you as well. Malak, a couple of already are there. That's great. So let's wait maybe 1 minute more, and then we can see how we go and get fully started with the program for today. And I'm very excited because it is not an everyday topic to launch a book by myself. Somebody said I already launched 25 of those, but it's, I think, only the second time I do a LinkedIn Live type of launch event. Very much excited. Particularly, it's not just about me. This book came into being because it's more people, it's more expert and professionals who also added their wisdom to it. So let me get started by the flow. And you can see that we have a couple of us already in there. We have Ricky, we have Jane, we have Veronica, we have Adriana from Romania. So we have Australian evening and European lunchtime. So welcome everyone. So let me get started. The way how I would like to run this, I would like to introduce a bit about the book at the beginning, how it came into being, why actually this is a topic worth talking about, and all of you spending some time to it. Thank you for this so far. And then I will have a couple of questions that I will ask to the 4 experts that we have on stage. And I'm very happy for this one because there are those who also added their expertise in the book. The book is not just mine. It has a couple of pages with some of you either here on stage or those which are also in the audience, like Craig, like Nicola, and a couple of others. So let's get started. First of all, for those who don't know me yet, so my name is Gunnar. I'm a senior partner manager at ActiveCampaign. That is a mail automation software from Chicago, where I just came back from when the book had just came out of print, the first version of that one. I was very excited to first have this in the hand, and it's a nice thing when you really have a proper book in the hand. So in that sense, I'm also content creator. Some of you might know me from blogging about topics like social selling or whatever. In the meantime, a lot about email marketing. And I published some books, 25, as some people say. So how do we come there? And how does this book come to being? So first of all, I would really like to thank all those who contributed to this book, because it's not just about myself. The foreword from Justin Michael, who just launched his own fantastic book about attraction selling. Ricky, that's for you. Then we have Paul de Michiel, we have Ricky, who's here, we have Olga, Jane, who's here, Damien, Nicola, who's in the audience, Veronica on stage, Maggie, who I met in Chicago, Shuba, I hope you are there as well now. We have Larry, Sybil, Andreas, Craig, who's in the audience, Adriana on stage just after her birthday, Rema, my first coach, Raul. Then we have my long-standing boss, Brad. We have Tom, Pri, Jam, Nick, Arnold from Switzerland. We worked together 20 years ago. Natalie, Dennis, Michael, Beat, and then Karen, who's a fantastic exact editor. Josephina Luna, who has done the design over my last 3 books, and Andrew Arcotas, who has been the first one who printed last year's book, and he helped also to publish Jane's book. So then a book is all about more contributors. Thank you, everyone. So the topic is social selling. It's my second book about the topic. Last year, it was more for selling, for sales and marketing. And while I had a period in my life where I always wanted to find out what the next role would be, would it be another corporation, or maybe would I join a creative startup? Then I thought the topic of social selling actually works well. So in the group of outplacement where I've been associated with from LHH, then I gave a training for this topic, social selling for job seekers. And I came on the view that, on the opinion that the definition I had in my book called Connect and Act last year fits as well. Social selling is a clever approach of using social media and digital tools to enhance business conversations. And how well does that work together? Social media, I worked 3 years at Hootsuite. Digital tools, I'm at Active Campaign, works well together. So I've created a story based on, or the structure of the book based on Lego bricks. I'm a big fan of using Lego. I won my first contest with the age of 6. Was also the last time I played in a contest. So maybe would have lost more in the meantime, but I really enjoyed that. And I take it like this. Think about LinkedIn, any other social media, doesn't matter. But you first want to ensure that you have a complete representation of your profile. That's the first thing. And for me, when you take it from a Lego point of view, it is a 6-stud high element. And on this one, we can build. If you try to create content or apply for jobs, but our digital representation is not very good, doesn't actually help. Once we have done that, then we can add and connect the right level of people. What we want is that they see immediately that we are worth watching the profile. It's because how long do people have to watch a profile? For a CV, maybe 6 seconds. For a LinkedIn profile, maybe 2. What is actually also the question, the beauty of using, for example, LinkedIn over a website? Everyone knows what is placed at which part of it. You already know there's an image, here's a headline, it's standardized, and that's the beauty. Therefore, it's 2 seconds compared to 6 seconds maybe on a CV. The third step is content, but we can only use content well if it hits the right audience, if we need to define beforehand. And then comes the magic, and that magic is invisible to the public. That is called convert. That's the last step. I always call it the first, second, and third, and fourth regular step of my Lego brick journey, and that is an important topic. What comes then? Next week, a blue, a yellow, and a green, and then another blue, yellow, and a green, and one moment, maybe every quarter, we would have another red one. We would improve something. A change might have happened. So then we can already do a blue one to give more stability, and that's the way how that would work. I just see also in the audience, we have people from very far away. I see from Rome as well, from Switzerland. Yeah, that's good. Good morning, Europe. So that is my brick story. And I used to create this also in form of an online course with the same 4 steps a couple of years ago when I started that, maybe 3 years ago. That then later turned into my book, Connect and Act. And that works so well also from a job seeking point of view. So, key question. How can we alternatively use LinkedIn for job search other than just applying? Because that is what most are doing. They figure out, there's a job I would like to go after. Either they're in between, or they're not happy, or they would like to see what's the next steps. Click on a button on LinkedIn, apply, takes less than a minute, CV is there. Doesn't work. That should be something else. And there is so much more. Let's have a look how that would look like. So first of all, what I think is this one, the alternative approach of using LinkedIn for job search other than applying. So let's find a typical job search activity. Think like this. Here's a typical job from a company called Proofpoint. The person who had that role, I worked with him up to 2 years ago when I've been at Hootsuite. So a typical role, wonderful for what I would have been looking for maybe half a year ago. And what do we see on these company pages? Only what's visible. But how would we know that actually is available? Maybe it's already given to someone. If I want to apply, it's filtered by an application tracking system, which is there to get the vast amount of CVs in there. That's how that works. Numbers game. Throwing spaghetti against the wall rarely works. So then what we see are the visible and reposted roles reposted. On LinkedIn, it's also the same thing. Maybe LinkedIn is reposted for once per month and the job is already gone. And the tricky thing, what we want to do, we want to talk to the talent expert first, to hear from them about the role, while they want to hear from potential candidates to come towards a shortlist for the first interviews. And that can be just maybe 10, 12 people out of these 200 to 500 who are applying. That's not the typical approach that would work. That can be something else. I thought maybe a bit more clever approaches to see this one. So here was a role at LinkedIn. Open bracket, funny anecdote. On LinkedIn, once I went there in October last year, and I met with Jill, who I happen to work with from Singapore. He has been there, and I said, "Hey, Jill, one day I would like to be maybe inside of LinkedIn." I meant working there. And he said, Gunnar, the best value you can do for LinkedIn is when you are outside as someone who's promoting the platform. Good idea, maybe even the better idea. It was really fun. So anyway, closing bracket. How would I get into this one? So I would need to find out who I actually know. The best time to find someone was yesterday to build a strong network. I need to have it before. Second best time is at least to find out who also is there. Is there anyone who I know that I can basically give them something in the hand that they can refer me, promote me? But why would they do this? Ideally, I have built a strong network with someone in between. So that's how that would work. So I look in LinkedIn, particular premium version for Jobseeker is very useful. Then I can find out what actually makes sense there. Who is there? Who can I ask? So maybe Amanda, I could ask her. But one of the roles that I found were actually her kind of maternity replacement. But anyway, so that is this way approach to really find out the network that I have built in the past can help me. And ideally, it helps me when I first give before I take. It's give and take, it's not the other way around. Another way how we can use it, it's all in the book as well. Another way, think about this. There could be someone who's changing a company, like in this example, David. So he joined Okta. Okta is one of those companies who create this single sign-on if you log in into something in a company. I said, that's cool. So I'm looking into, if I wanted to work there in the past, I thought, where are people coming from that they get into a role like Okta? What are the career journeys that people have? And I figured out, okay, he came from CrowdStrike. That's cool. In North Sydney, know them. I have a friend of mine working over there. And then I picked a couple of journeys, how they get in there, and which roles might be vacated. And that's an interesting one. That was interesting for me to see. I'm now working at Active Campaign. I'm grateful to be here. Where has the predecessor been and where did he or they go to? So that's a way how we can also a little bit get into this type of topic of job search. So Craig, you just mentioned one thing, your brand marches before you. And little anecdote there as well. 8 years ago, I came first time to Sydney in the view of potential job search. So that was a good one. And I wanted to go to Auckland. And I met Craig McAlpine, career coach. If you open the book, the first testimonial over there, the first page. And Craig said, Gunnar, nobody cares about European experience as such, what you have done there. But the lesson that you learned, if you can apply this on a new region, that might be a value. But not just to say that's how it works in Europe. Nobody cares. And so grateful that, Greg, that you included a couple of words, actually full page in my book. Thank you for that one. So the brand marches before you. Therefore, on the title of the book, it says, personal branding in action. That exactly is the point. So therefore, I'm now asking Ricky Pearl on stage. So it's the first one to really get started. And we go into a bit of an interviewing mode. So then, Ricky, you and I, let's have a quick chat together about that. I'll take off the slides. And now a quick introduction. So Ricky, out of 4 interviews, you're the first. Let's get started. Quick introduction about who you are.
Ricky Pearl, founder of Pointer Strategy. We're a sales and training and recruitment agency. We help companies build sales teams and help those teams succeed and thrive.
Good one. I just read, I would ask you for 40 seconds. It was much faster, but so pointy. Well, it's called Pointer. So well done on this one. So Ricky, what means social selling or LinkedIn for you, for your candidates, and for your clients?
We do a lot. We're also an outsourced sales agency. Well, that's actually our origin. So social selling for us started as a business, a strategy for business development. It was about actual selling of products and introducing of services. And it is probably one of the most interesting of all of the channels. We typically talk about cold calling, cold email, or social selling, LinkedIn. So for us, the origin of social selling is, which has evolved obviously quite rapidly, has been this just remarkable opportunity for people to contact how many people on LinkedIn at the moment? Gunnar, you're going to know this. However many, 800 million?
More than a billion. More than a billion.
More than a billion. There we go. More than a billion people who you would never otherwise have access to. The CEO of HubSpot, the CEO of Salesforce, CEO of Microsoft. I have absolutely no ways of getting hold of. I could approach them on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's good. But what I observed is that many people, particularly in sales, many professionals in sales, even technology sales, they seem to not really use it well enough. They might spy a bit, observe someone, use for prospecting, but they're not very good in using it. What are the challenges why they are not creating content? Why they don't show their expertise? And how can you help candidates that you would like to place with proper employers?
I think there's such an opportunity there. I don't mind that most people don't know how to use LinkedIn properly to build their brand or to social sell, or even just to direct sell without what I'd call social selling. I think there's a distinct difference between using LinkedIn as a channel and actually social selling. But the fact that so few are able to do it is an opportunity for everyone who does. People struggle with it because they've never been taught how, to be frank. I don't think they understand as a recruiter what it looks like out of the 500 or 1,000 applicants that you get, how the system works and how easy it is to put yourself in the top 5 or 10 through very simple actions, which do not take a lifetime of learning. You could probably learn within however long it takes you to read that many pages.
There's one metric particular for salespeople, because obviously LinkedIn would like to sell the Sales Navigator edition, which is, I think, the only way how you can even put notes to someone where you have a virtual org chart. It's great for prospecting, but there's one thing that comes out of this for everyone, and that is the social selling index. Would you ask candidates about their SSI? The social selling index is number between 1 and 100?
I never have. However, all of the elements that make up the social selling index influence how I view their profile.
which includes, for example, the
Are
brand,
their
what's
brand,
visible.
is their profile complete? Have they built up a network of connections? Do they have recommendations on their profile? Are they actively engaging in commentary or in posting content? All the things that help build up an SSI, and any of the 4 categories for your SSI would help you stand out with a recruiter or with a potential employer.
Yeah, that's good one. So I had that only once, that an external recruiter like yourself asked me. That was interesting, and I happened to know the number at that day, which
Yeah,
was quite good, because I've followed occasionally this number. It doesn't necessarily tell how successful someone can be, but
yeah,
at least it shows how much you utilize the platform, especially on finding and prospecting. Because what I strongly believe in, companies are looking for, and correct me if I'm wrong, think about the section of the CV about the achievements, how much money you make, how much money you save, how many projects you bring forward, and how you influence and contribute to the culture. And you can put this quantification on many other topics, on different type of roles, also those not in sales. But what, regardless of this, companies, in my view, are looking for, I've been looking for when I hired salespeople, is also what network can they bring and can they create in the future? Do they have
absolutely.
some interesting stories to tell? So what
Absolutely.
would be your top tip for anyone out there who considers potentially a change, in or maybe is even then hitting into a role regarding sales? What is your top tip?
I mean, for sales, we have a lot of tips, but I almost discount anyone who wants to consider themselves a modern seller. If they do not have a built-up, robust LinkedIn profile, if I cannot see that they've been building a network, that they have been engaging, that they have been, I guess, prospecting or using it as a way to network, I would be really hesitant in looking at them as a potential candidate. There's a lot that can be done in how you go about looking for a job. There's a lot that can be done in how you make yourself stand out as a potential candidate, because your profile comes with 2 very important things when it comes to selling. One, it brings social proof. I know, are you
Ah,
good at your job? I don't know that. But if I can see from a whole lot of other people, potentially some of them who I even know and trust, that they respect you, all of a sudden you are an inner circle individual. So you can bring trust and social proof through your profile. And something that we think that is so incredibly important about LinkedIn when selling, which is more important than calling or on email, is that on LinkedIn, the messenger can matter more than the message.
that's a good one. Messenger counts more than the message. I like that.
If I got an
Thank
email
you.
from Yimini at HubSpot wanting to talk to me about my CRM, I'd probably ignore it. I'd absolutely ignore it. But when I see that profile come through on LinkedIn as the CEO of HubSpot, I do not care what she has to say. I'm going to say, absolutely, I want to meet with you,
You
because
see?
the profile has weight regardless of what the message was. So you have an opportunity to add weight to your message by elevating the messenger. And that's about building your profile.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your insight, Vic. Vicky, really appreciate this. And I would like to hand over now to Jane. So then, Jane, there's one thing about yourself, what I must say, it started for me with this one. So one day I got this book because Andrew Akratas, who's been publishing this, I knew him much longer than yourself. And then I remember we met at the LinkedIn Live in Sydney when those happened. And now I'm very much looking forward to sharing the stage also with yourself.
Thank you so much, Gunnar. And I have to say, I love what Ricky just said. Elevate the messenger, which is you, right? So if you're the messenger, make sure you use LinkedIn as strongly as possible. It's great to be here, Gunnar. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here as well. So Jane, quick introduction about yourself, please, outside of the book.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. I'm a Sydney-based career management coach, and I specialize in transition coaching. So basically helping people get from their current state to their desired state. And so I helped you to go from feeling a bit confused and perhaps daunted about where your career is going to clear, confident, and excited about each step of your career journey. I'm the author of Navigating Career Crossroads has just shown on the screen. Thank you so much. And also considered a LinkedIn top voice for careers on LinkedIn and host of Your Career podcast, where I provide inspiration advice to help people to land the job that they'll love and follow their true values and career anchor.
That's nice. So I like your podcast. You already have so many episodes, and I think it was about 2 years ago when you invited me to be also part of that one. So I listened to so many others, and it's great to hear success stories in your program. And there's particularly one thing where I always struggled when I had the thought I would like to change, but in getting in front of the right person, often they needed one element, which was the cover letter. And I can prove one thing. I applied for one company, didn't go anywhere. I attended your monthly program and we had a look at the cover letter, and you have been creating this on the fly with me watching you doing that. I thought that actually makes sense. And for the same company, then I landed interviews with the right person, thanks to the structure of how a cover letter can be, the tone, how to write it, knowing that I'm not native English, and I really enjoyed that. But it's much more than you can help with than just cover letter or CVs. We have even courses. So how would you practically help?
How do I practically help? Well, basically, what I focus on is helping people to get the clarity of purpose so they know what it is that they really want. Because so many people chase for jobs and they're clicking apply because they see something advertised, but it might not be the right thing for them. So I like to peel it all back and go right to basics and help people to get the clarity of purpose so they know what their true career anchor is, the direction they need to be going in, the values that drive them, the skills and knowledge they currently have, what's transferable, what's not transferable into a desired direction. And then once we've done the hard bit is knowing what it is that you want and what really makes you tick. But once you understand, then the next step is really more of a process. It's getting the resume right, getting the cover letters right, knowing how to really create a targeted piece of marketing material. But part and parcel of all of that is also how to use LinkedIn, how to expand your network, and how to really leverage LinkedIn so that it works for you as a job seeker, so that you're not chasing jobs by just applying, but actually attracting roles because of who you are, the keywords you turn up for, and what people know about you.
Yeah, so you basically, when we met a couple of years ago, I think it was 2018, 19, long before COVID, you ran the LinkedIn live sessions in Sydney together with Gillian Bullock. What is your view about LinkedIn, the building the network from a career change point of view? How important is that, and when to start with that?
Oh, building your career net. Well, start right from when you start at university. Keep in touch with the people with whom you share common values, have common interests, because most people they land their first job and then they get so stuck into the role that they're really it's a matter of tunnel vision. Whereas once you're in a job, what's important is to make sure that you connect with people who are in your industry in a similar job function, and then start to get to know people within the organization, and then outside of the organization, the people in your area of interest as well and expertise. Because the more people whom you know who do what you do, I don't think of it as competition. I think of it as potential collaboration. And for instance, I'm a career coach. I collaborate with other career coaches. Sure, we all want work, but if we are together and we're happy to collaborate, then we actually expand our reach, and then there's more for everybody, right? There's plenty of pie for everyone. I don't like to think of competition. I like to think of how can we collaborate? And just because, you think of two flowers sitting next to each other or growing next to each other, just because one blooms doesn't mean the other one can't bloom. You can both bloom in tandem. So expand your network right from the beginning of your career and maintain it as well, because too many people expand their network when they're looking for a job, when they want something, when they need something. And then once they land the job, they forget the people who helped them along the way, always stay in touch, even if it's every couple of months, a little note to say, hey, how are you? Or a quick phone call, just to say, what's been happening in your world, because that way you solidify the relationship as well. You can do it personally, or you can use LinkedIn as well in order to maintain that contact, because connection is so important.
It truly is. If you build a relationship with someone, which can also go a little bit on the person private side, that you see you're connected with someone also on Facebook, you see they just had maybe came back from vacation or something, and then you're back in a similar type of area of work. Of course, you can talk about that as well on a LinkedIn message. That works as well. One comment, because Craig already wrote about that. Many people start with CV without discovery and unpackaging and repackaging. Sometimes it can be even tough when you said you help to unpack, to really find out what is the core, what someone wants, because I think you might get them before they really know it. And that feels a bit like, why they ask all of these questions? And that was the first time when I worked with Craig, and I realized it was so to my benefit, because then I realized, do I really want to make, for example, this career change of moving to another place? And reflecting with someone external, when you have the feeling in terms of chemistry you can go well with them, that is so important. So how long would normally a journey look like if somebody comes and says, it's not about layoff, but in general, I'm not so happy, but I would like to go into something else, but I'm not so clear. How long would such a journey work?
Oh, depends on the individual. It's like how long's a piece of string, really, because everyone has different needs. And so I create a bespoke approach to make sure that I can tailor it to what someone needs. Someone might just need a boost of confidence. Someone else wants career clarity. Other people might want the entire career transition process. So what I provide, whether it's one-on-one coaching, or whether it's through my group coaching programs in the Career Success Program, is very much a tailored approach so that everybody gets what they need. For example, today I was coaching someone, and all she needed was a resume. She knew exactly what she wanted already. She didn't need clarity. She had clarity, but she needed a really powerful piece of marketing material. So we worked on that in an in-depth deep dive into her accomplishments, specific job description that she was going for, so that we could tailor it for that one role. So that's just one session and we're done. For others, they need to make a career transition. So it could be that they've gone through a redundancy and they think, oh dear, I don't know what to do next. My confidence has been a little bit shattered because of the layoff. And so then we have to start to rebuild, build their confidence, help them gain clarity, explore the options of what they could do, and then work through the resumes, the cover letters, the job search strategies, the networking, the job interview process, negotiation. And that could be anywhere between about 4 to 8 sessions, so that we cover everything that they need. So I'm not therapy. You don't need me for a long time. I like to get in, help, and then you're successful, and then you give me a nice review, and then I'm happy. So basically,
Wonderful.
the faster we can do this,
Love that.
the better it is for everyone concerned.
So the quick question, the last question to you, Jane. What is this one thing, that's a one tip when it comes to LinkedIn from a career point of view, what you would suggest people are doing?
Okay, so when you're on LinkedIn, make sure you know what the purpose is that you're on LinkedIn for, because a lot of people, they may think, oh, I'm going to share posts and I'm going to start content creating and I'm going to build my brand. Well, what's your brand for, really? So if you're a job seeker, you're there for a specific purpose. If you want to manage your career, you're there for another specific purpose. So first of all, take a step back, find out, discover for yourself who you are, what you want, what is your ultimate goal. And then once you know what your goal is, then you can leverage LinkedIn for your own purpose. I focus on job seekers, and I always say, first of all, take a step back, understand who you are, what you want, and then create your marketing plan. And so when you've got your marketing plan, you know which companies you might want to target, which people within those companies you need to reach out too, and then do your research and make sure that when you do connect, you personalize the connection, make the connection authentic, and give them a good reason to want to connect with you.
Wonderful. Summarize very, very well. And you just also mentioned for those who are the different when you're looking for compared to when you are in a transition mode. So therefore, I would like to ask Veronica on stage. Thank you, Jane. And Veronica, you and I met about maybe nearly 3 years ago when you worked and still do, when you worked just plus minus fresh at Aircall. Aircall is a fantastic software vendor in the area of unified communication. And back then, you have not been a partner account manager. So then for you, in my observation, LinkedIn and social selling actually helped to become who you are. So stage is yours. Quick introduction.
Yes. Hi, Gunnar. Thank you so much for having me here. So yeah, I'm a partner account manager at Echo, as Gunnar said. So I do the same role as Gunnar, just at a different company. Aircall is a cloud-based phone system and communication platform that plugs into different business tools. And basically my job is to manage technology and channel partners. I think it's one of the most beautiful roles in sales. So yeah, part of the go-to-market team, but just in partnerships and alliances. And yeah, as you said, I met Gunnar when I was a BDR. So I was just starting as a BDR, and then I had an internal movement, and then became a partner account manager. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with many different things, but also using LinkedIn for that benefit.
Yeah, thank you so much. So then when I would remember this, it was when I've done a social selling activity along the same 4 steps of these Lego bricks for Aircall with the whole team. And you have been the one who not only won the prize of the month, but also because I had the feeling you embraced it fully, the platform. So what does it mean for you to create content and get others excited?
Yeah, good question. I think I mean, you can tell from my accent, I'm not from Australia. I moved to Australia and I used LinkedIn to connect with people and basically understand what they were doing, what the role was about. So I truly believed in like the power of the platform. And when you presented that, I saw it as an opportunity to just increase the ability to, one, learn about different, like the ICP I was speaking to. So sales leaders, support leaders, what they cared about, what their role was about, and then understand, then use that in my career as well. And then I started creating content just because I thought I saw things that were working for me, strategies, or maybe like an opening in a call or an SMS after a call or something that was working for me. And I was like, well, if it's working for me, I should just share it. So I just started sharing what was working for me, or also what I was hearing leaders cared about. So I was like, I spoke to this sales leader and they're caring about this. And to me, that really sort of helped me in my role, but also helped me to create connections inside the business and also outside the business. So it was like this perpetual machine, you know, that just like you give a little bit and then it gives you back. So yeah, I've been sort of using it since then.
I would say with it gives you, you do a bit give and take. It's on purpose, not take and give. And for me, it's nice to observe your journey over the last nearly 3 years, also because I have the feeling this way of utilizing LinkedIn helped you to get into this partner manager role. You said 2 abbreviations just to translate them for the audience who are not from our industry. BDR is a business development representative, yes, basically the first person reaching out or being the inbound of a company before then figuring out what the next steps are. So in the meantime, you are above higher on this one. And you also mentioned ICP, which is the ideal customer profile, which of course you need to know before you can create content, that you know who actually the people are that you would like to have also in your network. So that I think is a very important topic as well. And I think Vicky will be very happy to hear all of this one, that there truly are great sales people who advance in their career and they really utilize LinkedIn very well. So that for sure is Veronica, that is your area of expertise. And I'm happy that you also, due to this, had the chance to be a guest of a podcast from Mark McInnes, who is one of the top social selling experts in the country. So that, of course, is awesome, great success for them. Thank you also for coming to the launch of my last book last year. So what would you then tell others about how to use LinkedIn or social selling? What is your one tip?
My one tip, I guess it depends. Like if you are looking for a job, which is the topic of this book launch, is I think content is so much more than just posting about something. Content can also be like commenting on someone's post, asking questions on whatever they commented about. It's sending a message, sending a voice note. Like as Ricky said, like you can stand out so much more if you reach out to a recruiter. Like you comment on their post, you kind of like multi-thread. So we use that a lot in sales. You comment on the post like, oh, really interested in this role, I'll send you a direct message. Then you send a direct message. And then you might send a voice note as well. So I think the content part sometimes can be a little bit daunting. But if you make it like, if you use like a schedule, just like they mentioned, create a marketing plan, we'll create a schedule for content. So I'll comment on 3 posts today. I'll send maybe 2 direct messages and I'll post once a week about things I'm reading or about things I'm hearing. So I think that would be my biggest tip. Like content is so much more than just posting. It can be other things as we just mentioned.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for this one. And I'm fully agree with you. So that's perfect. And I would like to also now hand over to Adriana. And hi and welcome to Europe. Welcome to Romania. So that is, here we have Adriana. I must say, when I launched my last book last year in May, Adriana, you and I, we might have seen ourselves on LinkedIn, but we have not been connected. That only came afterwards. And now with myself working at Active Campaign with agencies and in the whole digital marketing area, not only on social. So it's of course perfect. Therefore, I'm very happy that you are here. So therefore, quick introduction from your side, please.
Hey Gunnar, thank you for having me. Hi everyone, I'm Adriana. I'm a marketing strategist and a trend analyst. I write the Ideas to Power Your Future newsletter, where I teach people how to grow their business in a resilient, anti-fragile way and without all the bro hacks you see everywhere online. I also consult with solopreneurs and small business owners to teach them exactly what I write in my newsletter, how to achieve sustainable growth without driving themselves into an early grave and spending ages on social media or on digital marketing in general.
Yeah, good one. I like this. So, and by the way, when your newsletter comes out on a Thursday, that sometimes hits the Australian Thursday evening. So it's not yet, should be in maybe 2 hours or so, when you always have it at the same time, which helps that your audience is also really waiting for this. And you've been one of those who really define that newsletter can be something that you really want to read. If you print it out, it's not just a one pager, it's maybe 4, fully fundamental. So we had Jane as career coach, Ricky as someone who helps between candidates and companies, Veronica in a company, and you have had a corporate career, created your own company. So what is LinkedIn and social selling for you?
For me, LinkedIn and social selling in general is all about reputation. Now, depending on your business goals, you can leverage your reputation to network, to create relationships with a few key people, or you can do this at scale by appealing to a larger, broader audience. It depends on your goals. For the purpose of this conversation, for job seekers, it's always about networking and about trying to understand the company you want to work for, their pain points, what they might be looking in a candidate, not necessarily for the position you're interested in, but also broadly speaking, because you're going to notice that most companies look for some soft skills in all of their candidates. They look for certain personality types. They look for people who are going to be easily integrated into the company culture. So you want to use social selling and networking to figure all that out and to find out if you'd be a good fit for that company. At the end of the day, it's not just about getting a job, any job. It's about getting a job that you are going to thrive in and that you are going to enjoy doing.
Yeah, that's totally correct. So then when you have your corporate experience, you created your agency, you employed people either fixed or as casual contributors. How much do you look in topics like network and LinkedIn in that area, which is more entrepreneurial and startup and small businesses compared to corporations?
So for my agency, when I used to hire people, LinkedIn did not play a part in it. But if I were to hire someone today for my consulting business, the way they appear on LinkedIn would definitely play a huge part in my decision to hire them or not, because the way they show up on social media, whether that's LinkedIn or something else, tells me a lot about whether they understand my business model or not. So I would definitely be looking for someone who is active on social media and who takes it seriously in the sense that they don't just post and ghost. They're trying to build real connections and a real rapport with their audience.
I like this ghost, post and ghost, not post and ghost. Really, that's a good one because that makes no sense. There are some who realize that they might leave a corporate world, create their own business, but it feels sometimes lonely. How much does LinkedIn give you the feeling that you are not alone with the relationship that you build?
Oh, LinkedIn has been a game changer, and at first it was hard for me to admit it because I've always been a lone wolf, the person who wanted to do everything on her own, and I rarely relied on other people, and especially not on people who were just part of my network. Sure, I had people who worked for me, but I never had a strong network of fellow entrepreneurs. I found it via LinkedIn, and I never thought that would have been possible. I went to LinkedIn just to promote my services and my new business, but I discovered a lot of wonderful people, and that includes you, Gunnar, that I enjoy having conversations with, that I enjoy bouncing ideas off of. We help each other. I now have a personal advisory board made up of people I met on LinkedIn, and we just shoot each other messages like, "Hey, I don't know how to price this. Can you help?" I recently helped a
Mm,
friend of mine understand the basics of SEO, and we all pitch our different expertise areas, and we help each other, and that's a wonderful thing. What I would like to emphasize here is that it's not just about the help that I get from my network, the network that I've built on LinkedIn. What matters to me, perhaps even more, is the help I give them, because in a completely counterintuitive way, this helps me figuring out the questions they have, the areas they need help with. This helps me build better content, better products, better offers. It's wonderful to be part of an active network of people who are actively looking to grow their business, whatever that business may be.
lovely. Yeah, and thank you also for those connections who I found thanks to seeing who engaged with you, like Dennis Geelan is one of those who also has one page there. He's from Canada, and Brad Long from the US. So that I really love that. Um, Last question: what's your one tip for proper, decent, real, authentic networking on LinkedIn?
Stay away from mainstream advice. If you see something that's peddled by everyone, then it's probably not working anymore. So
Hmm.
try to find your own voice. You don't need a commenting quota. You don't need to have certain templates for your posts. We've already seen them. We've already seen all the ChatGPT generated hooks. Try to be your authentic self. I know that authenticity is sometimes a loaded term, or perhaps a term um, that's been devoid of meaning recently because everyone claims to be authentic, but in the end, we all end up washing and cleaning our content just so it fits the norm. So I found the most success, and the same has happened for my clients when I figured out that I need to talk about the things I stand for and the things I stand against. For me, that's bro marketing. I stand firmly against bro marketing. I know there's a better way to build a business, and this is what I talk about most often. And I know
Yeah,
that everyone, whether you're a job seeker or an entrepreneur, you have your own pet peeves, you have your own, you have your own values, the things you believe in, the things you abhor, to use a strong word. Don't be afraid to make those things public. Stand up for what you believe in. You will find a crowd of people who shares your values, and those will always be your best fit, either as clients, as employers, as partners.
wonderful. Thank you. I really like that. Thank you for that statement. So let's get everyone back on stage. Because there's one thing that happened in, I think it was around the 11th of April. Yeah, exactly. That's written. When I had my last day with Hootsuite, I restarted there in October, was basically 6 months contract. And that's when I received the first 7 books of this one in my hand. So that was very good. It was actually even the pre-version so that it got printed. In the meantime, it got a little bit better. It was fantastic to really have to see the book then finally in the hands of my former team, and now moving from social media to digital marketing, neighbors to each other, gets into the next role. So I'm very happy to say now this book is really there, and it is fantastic to have that. And would like to show you something, because then while I've been in the US, what happened in Australia, the book not only entered the hot new releases, that's awesome. But also I got for a while, maybe not today, but I also got this lovely #1 bestseller status. Um, Somebody said that I already wrote whatever number of other books, and I've been happy that last year even some of my earlier books from 2018 or 19 also got the bestseller status of major publishers who don't care about Amazon at all. That of course was nice, but here very happy and grateful for this one. I could call it an international bestseller if I would grab it in a category in another country as well. So if all my friends from who are in Europe ordering on the German Amazon would order as well at the same time, would be awesome, because the price is still the launch price. Need to put it up. Haven't done yet. Sorry for this one. It's still quite affordable book over there. And there's one way what we can also do with that. So then for all of those who don't have the book yet, so as you might know, Amazon has different stores, and somebody who has an account on the Australian one might not be able to order a Kindle in the American one because you cannot move the library. It's easier to move country than to move Amazon Kindle. But anyway, there's one thing. If you would click and go to the link which is written over there, which is for the book itself, Social Selling for Jobseekers.com. So there you would have the chance to also order the book in a signed way, because I have some that I can sign with a personal signature about it. And that's why for those who I can meet in Sydney, simply meet them. That's easier. Otherwise, I'll send them to Australia, New Zealand, or overseas, wherever, and happy to do so. The funny thing, somebody said back in the days when you didn't have print on demand or something like that, when a singer got a record and she said, oh, 2,000 of them are there. And she had to sign all of them. And the husband tried to sell them all to people, to friends, to get numbers. For me, it's not the question of numbers. What I like here is rather to share stories of what's working, to share how to use LinkedIn and social selling in a different way. And in that sense, myself, I'm not a career coach. I'm not a recruiter. I'm currently not hiring. So for me, it's rather the period where I learned a little bit more about defining the next role. I added these pieces together with what I've had beforehand in my book, which came out last year, called Connect and Act. That was the last year title. And interesting enough, even in some areas, LinkedIn and social selling is done in a different way. Like job seekers have different type of approach, and often in times of layoffs, even with a bit of urgency. Therefore, I put this watch on the cover. It's a 5 to 12. That's how I felt. And maybe next year I should do social selling for startups. Who knows? So that's an interesting one. What all is possible. But I would like to actually ask for questions, and I have something what I can provide as an answer. Sorry for not having a slide for this one. So you can win something, and that excludes those who are on the stage with me, obviously, because you have been part of that one. But there's something what we can all win, and I have 2 prizes. So one prize of them will be my LinkedIn course and the printed book, which together would have value of, I don't know, a bit about $100 and so on. Doesn't matter too much about the value. But one question about, hey, there's a question coming from you. Michelle, what is a good SSI? I would say if you're in sales around 70, Vicky, you can potentially confirm or not, but that is when you can see a lot of traction on that. So that is when you see that people have good reputation, good personal brand, and they do search for other people on it. That's in the 70 mark. If you are below 50, it looks you're not really doing too much. So or maybe, yeah, I would say 70 is really, really good. I happen to have, when I started that 5 years ago, 94, but it has been leveled down a couple of times. So I'm grateful to have 80 these days. So it's not always so easy. So question for you to win one social selling LinkedIn course and a book. So it's just typing this here in the chat. I didn't manage to create the slides. So my key question for this, how many books did you publish? Who's the first to type in how many books did I publish to get my course and a printed book sent to home or whenever we met in Sydney? How many books did I publish? Or how many books is this one? Who knows this? I think I said it 3 times. Who's the first with the answer? Vicky, you cannot. Veronica, you cannot. Then you cannot. And Adriana also not. Somebody need to know it. That is the one prize. Michelle, you actually are right. And I think, Michelle, one day, years ago, before COVID, we met, and you congratulated me for 16. Awesome. Thank you for that one. So then Michelle won the course. Good one. I have another one. And that would be maybe great that you won that one. And Sehi, I will answer your question afterwards. Second question to win something, which will be to win a LinkedIn profile refresh by Gunnar with a book. That's a paper with a signed book. So second question so it's 2 prizes, second one. And that question will be, what was the title of my 2023 book? What is the title of the book that I published before Social Selling for Job Seekers, which also had to do with LinkedIn? Who knows that? I mentioned it and I had it actually even somewhere on the slides. There's one person who actually holds this book in his hand. That was it. But maybe it's too small to see it over here. Who knows this? Hint. It was 2 words. Astrid, got it. Wonderful. You're in Rome. Nice one. In Rome, send a book. Congrats, Astrid, for a book and link refresh. Your profile is good, but still, let's talk. Good one. So question to the audience, and there was a question from Sehi. How to show company expertise in hiring or staffing business? That means not for your clients, but for yourself, because if memory serves me well, you are in that area of stuffing, how you can show the expertise of your company. I mean, one thing what you can do, let's say two things. You have your company page where you talk about more what the services are, and you have yourself where you would like to share not how good your service is, but where you would want to have your clients talking about what they achieved from having someone that you hired for them or stuffing for them. So the success story is more as of people where you are basically the facilitator to have someone who tells how great they can now do things thanks to the people that you provided to them because you understood very well what they need. So that is I would say the way how I would use this, and of course continuously talking about it, different trends, show that you are on top of the trends in the area of hiring and stuffing. So I know that here we have many virtual assistants which are maybe located in the Philippines. So then whenever we hear that there was something like earthquake nearby recently or power outage, that you can share about how does this affect actually the life of those who you provide work for, that those who would ask someone, who would ask you to get labor in those areas can have confidence that not just the right person, but also that they're skilled well and that there's the right infrastructure and what makes them special. I think that's how I would take it. Good one. That was this question. Any further question? Feel free to utilize also the chat continuously because it goes on. That's the beauty of this one. Also for everyone else who is now watching this later, you can continuously also write something. So that is very good possible. That's compared to a Zoom call where you need to then submit the link afterwards where the recording will be placed. So that I think is working well. So here we had even more with 25 at 8. When was the first one who wrote that? I think that was Michelle. Yours came in first. Good one. So thank you for this one. Any further question regarding all of that? Anyone else? Anything anyone would like to know? I would like to do something. I think, if memory serves me well, one of you, Ricky, you're the one. You have the book as well.
Right, yeah.
I think, yeah, exactly. So we can even be, how does it work? to take a quick screenshot of this one. So I thank you for all of you, the 4 of you, to be here. It's already a bit after the hour. So this is finally the book, Social Selling for Job Seekers, for Australia, New Zealand, Asia Pacific, Europe, is now out there. In that sense, for those who don't have it yet, you can find it on the links which I mentioned. So that it's always possible to find it over there. And I'm keen on one thing. I would like to know, like the artist towards the audience or the actor on stage who possibly might get applause one day, I would like to know how this book actually helps anyone, how this book has been instrumental to get on ideas, to get clarity, as Jane would say, to build a network the same way as also Adriana mentioned this, or to even think about an internal move by using it in more than one direction as a proper omni-channel approach, as Veronica said. And I think that's the way how we can utilize it to get all of this together and think about Ricky, who's not just this kind of one-way street of getting all of these applications out and filtering this, but really taking LinkedIn also to bring your target audience further. And Ricky, you do this not just for your candidates, that you have the right candidates, but you also help your clients when you realize that their way of selling is not really on par. So I think you are exactly this element in between. Therefore, Veronica and I, we work in partnership. We don't sell directly. And I said for 20 years, in partnership, we put the glue together. And finally, I learned what it actually means. We give, not take, we give. we listen, we unite, and we enhance. So that's a glue that we put together. That's about partnership. That's what Jane does in between on these stages, helping them. That's what Adriana does, especially also in that area in the entrepreneurship. Vicky does this as well, and Veronica and myself as partners. So then some are getting the glue in between, and I strongly hope that this book can also provide this type of level. So if anyone who read the book has might be so kind to add a review on Amazon, that would be quite helpful, because I don't have so many yet. So that would be very good. So thank you for all of the other comments that I've seen. We'll go through them also on YouTube and Facebook. And thank you, everyone, for joining. Much appreciated. Thank you, everyone.